so much for watching this video. I'm Forrest Blake. I'm the Vice President of the Tenant Consulting Group of Southern California within NAI Capital. This is the fourth video of a series. This one is titled Commercial Lease Total Rent Exposure. In our last video, we discussed how parking spaces and after-hours air conditioning impacts your effective rent. Let's now look at more factors affecting the total occupancy cost. My team works hard with tenants to get the most concessions. These are deducted from the total occupancy cost over time to establish the effective rent. Examples include free rent, free parking, tenant improvements, and moving allowances. So let's examine a few of these concessions in detail. Free rent, or beneficial occupancy. In most term lease transactions, there's a period when a tenant isn't required to pay rent. For traditional office space in Los Angeles, landlords will generally give you 1 free month per year. When exactly the tenant receives those free months will be negotiated. The downside is more free rent given up front, the more the landlord will want lease guarantees in equivalent dollars. On to moving allowances. It's important with any moving allowance to be specific in defining the eligible expenses. Is furniture included? Does stationery qualify? You also need to understand what hoops you have to jump through to get reimbursed. Lastly, what happens if you don't use all the moving allowance? Can it be credited towards rent? Good questions. Tenant improvement allowance. To cover the cost of renovations or retrofits, a landlord may provide an improvement allowance per usable square foot of lease space. Many times, however, the amount offered isn't enough to cover the actual cost of construction, and this could be a deal breaker for a tenant. That is why I always try to get landlord to amortize the additional expenses over the lease term. This is essentially a loan. So landlord will charge an interest rate. It will, however, minimize the initial out-of-pocket cost for the tenant and free up dollars needed to create the right work environment. My team has successfully negotiated many tenant allowances, and one thing I strongly recommend is to hire an architect or contractor as a part of the initial project team. With their experience, you'll be able to determine the improvement cost early in the negotiating process and be successful. Thank you so much for watching this video.